And so, ladies and gentlemen, Zoran Mamdani's government grocery store plan may already be running into the exact problems critics warned about. The city wants to use taxpayer dollars to sell groceries below normal retail price, but local grocery owners are now warning those government-backed stores could hurt their businesses. Obviously, we could see the problem here, right? And when one official involved in the program was asked what the city would do about that, she floated this as a possible solution.
I think ultimately the goals of these locations, not just here in East Harlem, but any borough location, is to be complementary to the neighborhood, and really rising tides, right? We can all cooperate and work together in a meaningful way.
Do you mind, what is the, I've heard that term from EDC officials, that these are meant to be complementary. What does that mean? What does that complementary mean in terms of policy, operations, and things like that?
Yeah, I think we're, as an agency, looking at a number of different complementary, policies and programs, grants, incentives that can come alongside these grocery stores to support other, local independent businesses that are in the neighborhoods. We're going to continue to listen, and we're going to continue to engage, and that'll be, alongside the operator as our partner. And like I said, making sure that we are complementary to the other businesses that are here in the neighborhood. So
other locations, other grocery stores can get grants from the city under this?
Something on the table. We're exploring a lot of different options and opportunities. I think there's a whole host of levers that the EDC is able to work within to make sure that everyone has equitable and equal access to opportunities here.
Thank you.
And so this is Mamdani's municipal grocery plan. We know, listen, $70 million in capital commitment. He wants to be able to get 30% of core grocery. He wants to be able to offer 30% off core grocery basket with a projected $90 a month in savings to $1,000 a year in savings, ladies and gentlemen. And I went over this before, ladies and gentlemen, as far as just speaking about how this is just the initial startup. And so inside the plan, because this is going to be government, as far as the government is going to pay for the rent is going to be covered, property taxes are going to be covered, but then he wants a actual private business to run the day-to-day operations, to hire, handle security, crime, loss prevention, that sort of thing. And also, I went over this in another video where I was talking about how basically it's a lose-lose situation because the groceries are subsidized, and because literally inside of the packet, as far as the packet that they put together to give to the private businesses that are looking to inquire to run this thing, one aspect of it is that they have to estimate the annual, how much it's going to cost annually, basically, to be able to provide that savings. And if they can't meet that as far as on their own, the private business, as far as, being in the green and able to have, cover their costs, then they potentially will have the government to be able to subsidize whatever additional costs necessary in order for them to be able to still offer that 30% discount on a monthly basis every single day of that month. And so what will end up happening, I'm going to tell you in a moment, but with this bright idea now, taxpayers will be on the hook to not only subsidize the government-backed grocery store, but then also subsidize the private business that's trying to stay afloat. I mean, this thing just keeps on getting absolutely more and more insane.
Mamdani's groceries are ready to lunch and destroy their business. But have no fear, Mamdani's groceries are ready to tackle the problem, floating the idea of grants for private grocers, to keep the competition at bay. Watch.
We're, as an agency, looking at a number of different complementary, policies and programs, grants, incentives that can come alongside these grocery stores to support other, local independent businesses.
So other locations, other grocery stores can get grants from the city under this?
Something on the table. We're exploring a lot of different options and opportunities.
So, Kennedy, this starts as a small deal, a couple $1 million, and now you're just throwing money at everything.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. This is going to get so expensive. So as billionaires start to leave New York City because of the pied-à-terre tax and the other taxes that are coming their way, because we're going to soak the rich. Yeah, they're like, go ahead and soak me all the way to Star Island in Florida. Bye. the people who are left holding the bucket are going to be the ones paying the most taxes, because this is already an expensive endeavor. They say it's going to be $30 million. It's going to be like the train to nowhere. It's going to be $300 million before you know it. And Mamdani's claim that New York City is a food desert, all you have to do is go to the South Bronx, and you will see a phenomenal number of immigrant-owned grocery stores where they have razor-thin profit margins, yet they stay in their own communities to feed their families and people they have grown up with instead of moving out of the South Bronx. And now they're going to be undercut by grocery stores like this. And, you know, with the revolt, because they're all getting together to fight City Hall on this, they're saying, that's okay, we'll just throw cash at you too. So that means more money the taxpayer has to put out for a problem that was really created by Mamdani.
Jessica, care to defend this?
No, thanks.
Would you like to?
I will not. I'll let you keep going.
Would you like to just pass?
Not allowed.
4 hours of babysitting, $3K, you know, universal childcare. That's the good stuff that Mamdani was talking about. That's the stuff that Kathy Hochul is willing to help him with budget-wise. This was always a loser of a plan, and it hasn't worked out in record time.
Okay.
But he's so proud of it.
Yes.
And the thing is, like, it's really interesting to watch these DSA folks get out of the university classroom and then have their policy ideas tested in real life. We saw that in the A block with a sheik getting his ass sheet. And now you have, like, on the grocery stores, it's like none of these immigrants, or I don't even know, maybe they're not immigrants, whoever is a bodega owner or a small market owner, they weren't asking for anything from the government. They're not asking for Waverly to come up with a plan that they could think about, maybe in a way getting some grants so that they could pay their bills. So they want to work and pay their bills. What would really help them is better quality of life and getting the homeless people off the streets that, for example, stand in front of grocery stores so that you don't want to go into them. Like, why do you think everybody has their stuff delivered by Amazon? Because you can't go into CVS and just pick up deodorant, because you have to call somebody, and there's only one person working. And they've made it so impossible for business owners to actually be able to do business. And now they want to throw money at them. I don't think that it will pass muster. It would be kind of cute and fun to watch them scramble around like this and try to find the answers that they didn't get tested on in the university. But unfortunately, this is like our taxpayer dollars and these business owners who don't want it.
And so this is the perfect example of government creating a problem that requires another government program in order to fix the consequences of the first government program. And as I was mentioning before to you guys, and so this is going to be the ultimate, just like, wow, we really did this to ourselves. The more successful the stores is, and I went over this before, the more it's going to cost the taxpayer. The more people who shop there, the more items get sold, the more they have to replenish, the more ultimately is going to fall on the taxpayer, because at some point, the store, are they pulling in enough revenue to be able to keep up the output, the demand? That's what it's going to come down to. Can the store generate enough revenue, keep up with the demand, and not need government subsidies? That's a long shot, ladies and gentlemen. While being able to provide these 30% discounts, while being able to pay employees fair wages, covering stolen goods, and being able to keep up with fresh quality products like they're going to be expected to. And so the taxpayer is paying to go shop at a store that they're subsidizing to be able to get groceries for a cheaper price, but it's coming out in their tax dollars. But Mamdani will tell you that he's going to tax the rich to go get the money.
Of this manipulation, these ideas, like people are really getting, oh, maybe being socialist is cool. This is all coming out of social media, 100%. It's not natural that people are sitting around, reading Marx and going, what a great idea. Like, let's implement this. They're not doing that. Very few of these quote-unquote Marxists that you find on social media are even aware of the consequences, the historical consequences of these strategies and what it ultimately leads to, which is like checkers. It's like real simple. Like, you're going to have a military that controls everything you do. As soon as you give up everything to the state, well, the state has the guns and you have nothing. And then they tell you what to do.
They tell you what to do.
It sucks. It doesn't mean that that's the way to do it, because capitalism is brutal. Yeah, capitalism needs some fucking guardrails. That's
for
what
sure.
it is.
Everything needs to be. But you've got, like, No, I totally agree. Like, I always joke about it, but it's kind of true. Is like Mamdani with the state-run grocery stores. Like, we had that when I was a kid. I literally went to them in Hungary. It was a communist state. There was only state-run grocery stores. I saw them. There's one like at the end of the block where my grandma lived, and I would go there in the morning to get the whatever it was, and it's just terrible. Like, it's really.
I'm very torn on social safety nets. I think we should have them.
I don't think there's anything wrong with social safety nets as long as you have the proper guardrails. And so with SNAP, we saw how there were people taking advantage of it, had to get cleaned up. Now people were removed, and they're complaining, obviously, because the jig is up. There's countless social safety programs, welfare for public housing, welfare programs, government housing programs for individuals who are impoverished and need assistance. The problem isn't having government social programs. The problem is the oversight to make sure that is not being manipulated and taken advantage of, and also to make sure that government is spending your tax dollars correctly and it is not going towards waste, fraud, and abuse. And that's why this story matters even before the first store even opens, because Mamdani sold this whole thing as simple competition. He was like, I look forward to may the best store win. Remember, he said that was so stupid to say. But once you introduce a government-backed competitor with taxpayer dollars that's subsidizing the prices, you're not competing under fair circumstances. I mean, who could actually even believe that for a second? And now the city's already talking about tax breaks, assistance, and other incentives in order to help out private businesses. At some point, the question is going to be, where are you going to get all of this money from? But those are my thoughts in the update. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. I appreciate when you chime in. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up. For more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.